Hey, this is Vu, and today I'm going to be talking about mid on Mirage. And honestly, this is probably the spot on any map that I've had the most trouble with in CSGO. Just being able to master mid, not only in terms of holding mid early, but also the rotations off of mid here on Mirage. And it's definitely a very tough map to get used to, so hopefully I can help you out there. Now, the first thing to recognize is that unless you spawn in this general area here, you're not going to be able to beat the terrorists to mid consistently, because if they have that perfect spawn with an opper, they will beat nearly every other spawn to mid, and that means that as you come through here, they're going to be posted up, you jump out, and a lot of the time they're going to be able to kill you. So playing mid thus means it's a lot about communication, being able to switch up spots, have your team do things for you, throwing flashes and the like. You have to be able to communicate and switch up your spots. You can't be static as just a window player. However, if you do have a round where you have a bad spawn and you want to still go window, there are two things you can do. Number one, you can throw a flash like this. This is a very easy flash. It's going to bounce off the wall, pop there, and you peek out with it, and you'll get a lot of kills with that. However, after you've thrown it once or twice, they're going to start to get used to it, and they're going to avoid that. And not only that, but they can actually get out to this box before that flash blows up, and they can kind of screw you up with that. The other flash, the one that not very many people I've seen have thrown, but I have my team throw quite a bit, is you just have an A player come towards A, throw a quick flash like that. It's as simple as that. That flash is going to come over mid, try and throw it a little bit higher. It's going to come over mid, blind their mid player, and if you peek out, you'll be able to hear it pop. You peek out as soon as it pops, you're going to get a lot of free kills there. There's very little their team can do. They're not really going to be able to avoid it, and it's just a really simple, really easy flash from your A player that will seriously help you as you come into mid, and your A player doesn't even need to put himself in jeopardy to throw that. So you can definitely have your A player try and throw that on occasion to give you an easier peek into mid. Now, you might have noticed when peeking mid, whether I have a good spawn or a decent spawn, or I don't go mid with a bad spawn, but either of those two, you come out straight forward, hit S, and land on this little wood thing here. That means that if they're holding the angle, they're going to have to adjust, and they might leg you or they might miss. And if they're not holding the angle and they peek out, they're going to be peeking towards you, crouching there, and they're going to have to flick up, which just gives you a massive advantage on them. And it's still pretty easy to fall back here. You just take a quick shot and you're still able to fall back immediately. So just very easily do this. Like I said, strafe out, hit S, you're going to land on there, and you're going to be in a great spot to be able to find some easy kills. Now, the only thing about this spot is if they come through underpass, they can kill you. So you only want to be holding the spot for, 3, 4, 5 seconds, and then crouch out and come to a spot like this where you can catch them off guard, even though you're not at an elevation difference. You're at just a different spot that they're not expecting. Now, the other thing I want to mention is the bad spawns. So if you spawn back here, what are you going to do with those spawns? Now, sometimes you're really just going to have to bite the bullet, go into window, and do something weird like this where you're holding an angle and then you randomly peek out if you have a bad spawn and your team's not really being receptive. But part of the reason that communication is so huge for a middle Mirage player is because you want to be able to rotate between cat and between connector when you have bad spawns. And one great example of this, I do this multiple times per game. If I have a spawn over here, there are two things I'll do. Number one, if I think that it could work, I'll actually just run up and boost into pallets and try and pick that on occasion. I do this with a scrim team on occasion, and I'll sometimes do this in pugs as well. But the main thing that I'll do is I'll come towards A, I'll say, hey, don't smoke ramp early, I'm going to pick it, I'll jump on this bench, and the reason I jump on this bench is because a lot of oppers will post on this area, and by jumping on the bench, you have an elevation difference, and you make this shot a lot easier for yourself. Clear that, and then come in a connector and actually just crouch down right here. Now, the reason I don't peek out here is because they can post on this angle, and they'll easily be able to kill you. You crouch down here, you're going to see them. Also, the reason I crouch is because if you're standing, their head's going to pop. It's going to pop up right about there, and they can get kills on you fairly easily. However, if you're crouching, you're going to be able to get some easy kills on them there, and you're safe from underpass as well, so you're in a great spot to find some easy kills and then fall right back into connector and do your own thing. As well as you can even, jump on this box and just peek towards palace. You're in a great rotationary spot by playing in connector like that. Now, as for actual rotates, there are two scenarios where you're going to be rotating generally if you're playing a passive mid, and that's going to be either you're going to be rotating into kitchen as they're hitting into B, in which case I really recommend this angle, okay? Because if you have players still alive in B, they're trying to delay, they're trying to stay alive, they're trying to catch as many people. And generally, that means that their team is already going to be pushed up past, past window. So trying to stop them from crossing to window is never going to work. However, holding this angle and catching them as they drop to van is going to net you consistent frags. There will almost always be someone that drops down there and you can get an easy kill. Especially, this is amazing because you don't risk yourself to an opera that could be posted up waiting for you to peek there. So not only is it a good spot to get consistent frags and support your teammate, but it's also a good spot because you're not putting yourself in danger. Now, on the A rotate, again, there is a very consistent way that you're going to rotate in, and what's going to happen is their team is going to throw a smoke down here, and you're going to go, shit, what do I do now? I'm screwed. Well, that's what I was thinking for a long time, actually. I would just try and spam the smoke or something stupid, but, a lot of people know this, and I'm sure a lot of people know this. Jump through the smoke onto the bench. Like this. That way, if they're trying to look under the smoke, they won't be able to see your feet from ramp. You wait here, and you either wait for them to come up palace. This is the safe way. You wait for them to come up palace, and then wait for them to cross site. And that way, if your team is still alive, if you have a player playing at bomb plant spot or firebox or tri-stack, then you're in a great spot to support that teammate. However, if you need to make plays, what you can do is you can just avoid that, start strafing out and starting to clear out around here. So that smoke could be down like that, generally. You come out here, you can try and cover these angles, and then if not, you can strafe out, and you're going to have a pretty big advantage on these people on ramp. And if you hit your shot, you can just easily fall right back into the smoke, and there's really not much they can do to stop you. It's just a very consistently strong angle to play from, and it's a great rotate to do, assuming they don't start to predict you or anything like that. It's just a great spot to play. Anyways, the final thing I want to mention is a little bit less about mid and a little bit more about Mirage. You can see right through the middle of this box. A lot of people don't know this. Look around here. You can see straight through the middle of it, and that can be very helpful in a lot of scenarios, and also you can spam straight through the middle and all of tri-stack with any rifle. You can spam straight through here. And most people don't know that either. You have to shoot through the wood bit, of course, but no, most people don't actually know that. You can just spam straight through there, and you can see straight through there. So just something that I thought I'd add onto this. And the final thing that I will actually talk about here is going aggressive in middle. And it's just something I really wouldn't recommend unless you're comfortable with it. And if you are comfortable with it, just have a field day. It's really something that I do somewhat often nowadays, but in reality, it's just playing passive mid works just as well, and you don't need to force anything. Also, this is a one-way smoke here. If you end up rifling, if you have to rifle mid, this is the smoke I will always throw. You're going to be in a one-way. You can see them coming through underpass. That's a one-way. If they go up cat, you crouch like this. This is also going to be not a complete one-way, but you're going to be very, very hard to see, and they're not going to get the jump on you. So this is actually a really awesome spot with that smoke, and I would definitely recommend considering playing that if you have to rifle mid, which I would tell you, don't rifle mid, but if you have to, that's just something to know. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope this helped.